Hello everyone, my name is Charles Isaac, and today we'll be editing a photo sent in by my friend, Tamaya Carter. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, for some backstory, this photo was taken at the Morocco Pavilion at Epcot while Tamaya was at Disney, or summer vacation. What I like about this photo is you have this tower in the center, which it creates a very clear subject for a photo. So what I want to do is actually crop this. I want to get all these plants and foliage out of the way, so we can actually focus on the actual building itself. You'll notice also that we're paying attention to the rule of thirds by placing the tower in the left vertical line in the photo. So with that, I'll just hit done. And with that, we move on to step 2, the actual editing. Alright. First off, I want to play with this contrast slider. I don't know about the exposure yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, if I do anything with that. But I know I want to add contrast, because what the contrast slider does is it adds color to your photo, whereas if you want the opposite effect, you'll go for the clarity slider down here under presence, which takes away color from the photo. As you'll see right here, it's desaturating all those warm tones from the tower, which is our subject. So just Control Z to undo. Next up is highlights. I want to bring those down. So we have really bright highlights in the sky. I ended up moving that down all the way to -100. Now I don't want to make this photo totally flat and let's say dark. Let's see if let's play with the clarity slider real quick. Bring that up a little bit. Not too much. Right there's good. Yeah, just Control Z and Control Y to go back and forth. That's not exactly shadow, but some darkness, I guess, to the photo. After we took down the highlights and made it kind of flat. Next up, I want to go for the vibrance. I just want to take that down a bit. That's good. Now it's looking a little more flat, a little more gray, but don't worry, I've got you. Let's play with temperature. Let's see what that does. Just a little more to the right. Temperature is really weird. Perfect. Alright. So what I like about the photo right now is that it's not too warm, it's not too cold. I feel like it's just right. Whereas if I press reset over here, boop, so we have a really warm looking tower. Whereas Control Z, the photo looks more neutral. And this makes it easier to work with. Also, another thing, which I forgot to mention, if you want to make your photos look flat and really professional looking, you can go down to Lens Corrections in Lightroom and click this box that says Enable Profile Corrections. Click on that. And automatically, you won't see it really well in this photo, but usually it'll flatten out your photo. If you shoot on a 24mm, you'll notice more of a difference. But it basically looks at the profile of your camera lens and basically undoes all the distortion that comes from the lens. So as you can see, we have this really flat looking photo. I want to add some more color to it. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the color tab. Let's see here. What do you want to do? Let's take back those orange colors in the tower. See, I'll just bump up the saturation a bit. Bring it right there. I want to go too crazy with that. Let's bring the orange down. I want to get more warm orange, not exactly red. I don't want to go into red, but let's just go for there. I don't want to get any redder than that. Yellows. Orange. Yeah, you can see the effects it's having on this top circular thing on the top of the tower. Let's bring that all down to say 69. Perfect. Greens. Let's just see, like, the thing with playing with colors in Lightroom is you want to play with the sliders a lot. Just like take them to each end of the and see like where what color locations are affected. That's a really good tip. Just undo that. I'm gonna bring the greens up to about 80. Because I noticed before that the greens in the I see them, but right now, but this like great looking design in the middle, it has a sort of grayish bluish tone, but you can't really see right now. So let's take it down. I want this photo to have a sort of uniform look to it. I want the oranges to stand out against the gray, cloudy sky. So I don't want any greens, I don't want blue, I don't want anything like that. Just orange and brown. So saturation is good there. Let's play with the luminance. So luminance affects like how bright each color is in your photo. If we take it down, we're gonna notice more darker colors here. Get up, it gets brighter. So say about 73. Not too crazy. Color. Say that's good. I'm happy with that. Alright, blues. I don't want to mess with this too much because I don't want green skies. So I don't mess with the blue hues too much in my photos. What I do like to do is take the saturation of the blue from all the way down. And with that, I like to bring the luminance up on those. That looks good. Alright. Now, one thing I don't see a lot of photographers play with much is camera calibration. This is what's going to give you that like orange and teal kind of look. What I want to do right now is not too crazy. I just want to take this blue slider, slide it to the right. See this making the oranges pop a lot. I want to take it all the way to take it around 50. That's good. So if you want to Control Z, Control Y, you see the difference. There's a big difference between no saturation and then adding a saturation. Alright, last but not least, I want to play with tone curve. This is one photographers love to use. This is our favorite. This is scrumptious tone curve. Love it. We stand. See, I hate Lightroom's tone curve though. I hate Lightroom's tone curve because look, you click on one spot right here and it moves it up like that. So when you're, just a side note, when you're working with the tone curve in Lightroom, you want to compensate for that. So just undo. You want to click like right here below the point you want to go for, and you'll get the point right there. So I'll do it again up here, highlights, and then what I like to do is the old-fashioned S curve. So you just curve the top like this, around here, then curve the bottom just like an S, like that. Now that's fine. What I like to do is I like to modify my S curve a little bit. So I like to take this point towards the bottom, move it up, bring the shadows up, and I'll take a point somewhere between these 2 points in the shadows, because basically the bottom half of this line controls your shadows, and the top half controls your highlights. So I just take a point here, somewhere here in the middle, right there, and that's how I like to do my S curve. So if you want to see before and after, this is with the tone curve, this is without it. See, with the tone curve, when you bring the bottom of the shadows up right here, it's called clipping the blacks. So that's what gives you that really flat look in your dark tones. And if you want the sky to look really flat, you just do the same thing but with the top in your highlights. Alright, time for part 2. So I've exported the photo from Lightroom, I brought it into Photoshop. What I like to do with my photos is, you don't have to do much here. This part's pretty simple, not complicated. I'm just gonna go up to filter, sharpen. This is how I sharpen my photos. I use the unsharp mask. I set it usually around 100. You can adjust this to more or less depending on what you need. But for me, 100 is like more than enough. Sometimes I go up to like 180. That's a bit much. You don't want to be too sharp, or else you'll start seeing like white lines around your yeah, see these white lines, those are not pretty. We don't want those. Disgusting. Move those back to 100 and click OK. You can, from here, just export and you're done. That's it. That's how I edit for landscapes, at least for architecture. But yeah, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. You want to see tutorials like this? You want to see maybe some videos of me shooting photos? Who knows? Don't forget to like and subscribe.